Welcome back folks, my name is LastKnownMeal and today we're gonna be talking about CD Projekt Red. As you all know, I have been making videos around their games for a very long time, starting with The Witcher, then moving on to Cyberpunk 2077, then going back to The Witcher, etc, etc. And my channel is very much known for The Witcher content and Cyberpunk 2077 content. And over the years I was able to closely follow what CDPR was doing. By that, I don't mean I have a secret pipeline to the company. Obviously, if I did, I would have known what was going on with Cyberpunk 2077. Sadly, I don't have that information. But over the years, I was able to kind of follow people who work at CDPR, developers and etc, talent, which made all of the games that we had played before. Now, since Cyberpunk 2077 came out in the state that it came out in, I said then that we need to follow who is leaving the company, because there are going to be people who are going to leave the company. Either the reason for that could be is that they only wanted to work on Cyberpunk 2077 and now that those contracts expired, they don't want to renew them and they will be, going somewhere else. That's normal. But one thing I noticed is that a lot of developers who have been in CDPR for a very long time, who are the backbone of CDPR when it comes to development, those people are now leaving the company in masses. And whenever you have the top talent leaving the company, you always have issues for the future, because obviously, due to your mistakes as the CEO, CTO, CFO, whatever, your job wasn't done well. And what happens is that you will lose people who potentially can make you great games in the future, who can also work on Cyberpunk 2077. You lose those people. And I'm not saying that the new people who are left in the studio, or new people who arrived at the studio, are not capable of making good games. I'm not saying that. We still have to see that. But it's not the thing about that. It's about the shift in the company. Because when you have the OGs leaving, that means things are actually becoming intense. That means that a lot of people are fed up with the company and just want to leave. And we had seen, obviously, with all of the delays that Cyberpunk 2077 was going through and everything, you obviously do know that they had to work a lot. So they had to polish the game fast, because there was release date, it was coming closer. And I can just imagine under how much stress in the last few months the game was being developed on. There was probably so much stress in that company during that time that I'm not surprised that so many people are leaving. Now, again, why am I worried about CDPR? Well, some things are still okay with this company. Still, I'm saying still. Number one, they don't have stupid DRM on their games, which for a lot of people, having always online thing is a bad thing. On that side, they're good. Second thing, they're still keeping away from MTX, at least when it comes to single player games. I mean, Gwent is okay when it comes to MTX. I talked with people who play Gwent much more than me, who just play Gwent, and they said, look, it's okay. The game is not pay to win, you can get all of the cards on your own, and mostly it depends on if you know to play or not. So on that side, they're good. Also, I'm not excluding that sometimes in the future we might see microtransactions. You never know, because that's that shift in the company. That shift is what worries me. Is that shift going to be towards worse? Or are things going to get better? And right now CDPR is working on a new update, they're working on a DLC. They have been saying so far, that the DLC is going to be much more than people wanted. And I do believe there was a change when it came to DLCs. I'm sure that at first, maybe a DLC was something small, which doesn't exclude that it's not going to be something small, but they probably saw, alright, people are not happy, and if we release just one new piece of armor as a DLC after all of these months, people are not gonna be happy, so we kinda have to implement something bigger. And if that's the case, that's that positive step forward. Because people are saying like, why don't you implement this or implement that, etc, etc. I mean, technically they should. You know why? Because that's gonna turn the narrative from bad CDPR into, alright CDPR, you're going somewhere. So right now, this update and this DLC, it has to be good, it has to succeed. On the Witcher front, they have the next-gen edition of The Witcher coming out. Now, this next-gen version is being developed by another studio, which is nothing new. It happens all the time. You have companies outsourcing ports to different companies, or, well, updates and next-gen editions to other companies because they can pull it off. Same as it was with the Switcher. The Witcher 3 on Switch, it was developed or well ported by a different company. It wasn't done by CDPR. Meanwhile, next gen edition of Cyberpunk is being developed on by the core CDPR team. So this DLC has to be good. This update has to be, you know, proper update. On the other front, I also am worried about the next gen edition of Cyberpunk. Why? I hope they manage to fix the game and polish the next-gen edition of Cyberpunk well. Because having another release, especially next-gen release, which for people who didn't buy the game earlier will have to buy it. If you already have the game though, you will get it for free. The upgrade is going to be free, but still, it has to be good because a lot of people are looking forward to the next-gen upgrade so they can play Cyberpunk 2077 on PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X. So I hope this release is good. Now, I'm also worried, and I know how this is gonna sound, I know that people don't like to hear this, but I'm also worried that the next-gen edition of Cyberpunk might be delayed. Again, that's just me saying it, there is no concrete evidence about it. They did say that it's releasing in the fourth quarter of 2021, but I wouldn't be surprised if we had a yellow message saying, well, we're sorry, but we're gonna need more time for the next gen edition. I wouldn't be surprised. So that has to be good. And for the future, I hope they do something about their company, because it's all just like, as soon as the game came out in the state that it is, and you know, all of the problems happened, etc, etc. I'm not saying it's a bad game. I do like Cyberpunk, but let's face it, it has issues. It has a lot of issues that needs to be worked on. Let's not kid ourselves over here. So I hope for the future that they don't turn into something else. And I'm still baffled why they waited for the release of Cyberpunk to go out in public and say, alright, we're changing how our company works now. We're no longer using the cascading waterfall work environment. We're changing it into agile. You know, things are gonna be great now. We learned our lesson, etc, etc. I hope the actual lesson was learned. Because as I said, so far, everything is just them saying it, or well, Kaczynski saying it. I want to see proper action. People want to see proper action. Now, obviously, that action takes time. Things cannot happen overnight. That's impossible for any company, any studio whatsoever. If you want to properly update something, especially if it has a lot of issues, you're not gonna be releasing that in 10 days. So I hope everything is good and substantial, because I am really worried that this company is just gonna start going down and down when it comes to actual community. And look, it's not impossible to get back what you had before when it comes to the community, when it comes to the respect. But the sad thing is, CDPR is never going to be that same company again in people's eyes. Because so far they made great games, no Witcher 1, 2, 3, everything was great. Everyone was like, alright, this company is great, including me sometimes, honestly, like they even fooled me sometimes. And I'm like, okay, now there is this shadow of Cyberpunk 2077 over their heads. So now there is always going to be that, always. And every mistake they make in the future, it's always going to be multiplied. because of Cyberpunk 2077. I want to say that. And I always warned CDPR in my videos. Like, if you make a mistake, expect it to be 10 times as stronger as if EA makes that decision or a problem, or Activision or whatever, because people didn't get used to that. You know, people still, they valued CDPR as this, oh my god, this is the company, finally a company which is going to be making games. And I get it, they still made a single player game without microtransactions, but obviously the game has issues, and everything that CEO was saying prior to release was not true. So hopefully they tone that down, and listen, CDPR, for the love of God, if you have problems with development, go out and openly say it. Like, we need more time, the game is not looking as we want it to look, the game is stuttering. Because if you said that, honesty goes a long way. And I believe, like, obviously you would have backlash, like backlash is always going to happen, but the backlash would be smaller than this. So maybe in the future, you know, be more open with the community, be more truthful, because that's people's money at the end of the day, you know? Because I still remember when I played the Witcher games, I still remember when I get the actual, like, letter from CDPR. I mean, everyone who buys the game gets it. Like, thank you for spending your hard-earned money on us to buy our product. That's the mentality that CDPR needs. That's the mentality they need back. Because now, it seems to me like their management, they kind of think they're above every other studio. Like, don't do that. Just keep the boots on the ground, do it slowly, and, you know, things might turn out for the better, who knows. But yeah, am I worried about CDPR? I'm not gonna lie to you, I'm worried about CDPR, and we'll see what's gonna be happening in the future. I hope they pull out. If they don't, well, they had a nice run. But yeah, that's just my opinion on the situation. And tell me down below in the comments, what do you think about this all? What do you think about CDPR? Do you think they might ever make a comeback? Do you think it's just done? Do you think that they're gonna continue to, like, say PR stuff and nothing is gonna be actually changed? You tell me down below. Also, check us out on Twitter and Discord, and if you enjoyed this video, click that like and subscribe button for more. And also, I do have a Patreon page. If you wanted to support the channel in an extra way, you can do it via the link below. And also, huge thanks to my current Patreon supporters. This is LKM signing out, and stay classy, everyone. Bye bye.